Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Game number 2 underway, round 6 of SCS Open Qualifier Day 2. Now, got a good matchup. We just watched an awesome match between, I believe we were, what did I even just cast? I don't even remember who I just casted, but anyway, Galu, we're in. You and I, this is our first time casting together, but
It is.
we're going to shout out the A stream real quick to see what they've got going on over there. They're casting Achieve Esports and Abstract Empire on Nerd Street R6, so go make sure you check them out as well. You've got Harrison and Sirius both on the casting sticks over there, so they're having a fun time enjoying themselves over on Nerd Street R6. And well, Benedict, you and I get to enjoy ourselves here on the B stream of SFCL, but we've got an awesome match today between Greenwall and Lycus Empire.
I have to say, this is gonna be interesting for me because again, this has been a running trend. Don't really know any of the teams. I'm kind of new to this side of the pond action. But Greenwall, Jagged, Sherman, J-Ram, Blue, Sonofin. Clips. Let you take me here.
Oh, I'm sorry? Well,
Sonofin.
Son of Finn. That is right.
Okay.
That is right. It is Son of Finn. Well,
And then
the Green Wall, very well-known team. They also play in the collegiate scene here in North America that you don't know as well, Galu, but I know very well, myself being a collegiate player. On the other side, they're playing against Leviathans. Their roster consists of Panic, Homie Jr., Nopers, Technith, and Italian Water. Italian Water being one of my teammates, goes to the same school as me, so I'll be bagging on him a little bit tonight as well. But we've got a good matchup between these two teams. They're both sitting right in the middle of the pack, and we'll go check out what map we're going to be going to tonight between these two teams. Immediately off the board goes Chalet as well as Clubhouse, and well, I'm curious to see where we might end up tonight, Galu.
yeah, it's always good fun just to get to find out, maybe get a bit of variety in there, get something a little bit fun. I have to say. Right, this is like the thing I always want to see is Skyscraper. I know it's like a Black Swan event when you get to see Skyscraper played, right? But because it just doesn't happen so often. But it looks like our best of one is going to be played on Cafe Dostoyevsky.
Well, a quick switch of Bank to Cafe. Last map was Bank, and that's what we were casting previously in game number 1. We're going to Cafe between the Green Wall and Leviathans, and well, Cafe is a very tall map, and a lot of utility will have to be cleared on out. Leviathans is a little bit newer of a roster. Green Wall, well, they've been together for the whole stock standard fall semester, and well, in North America, although I'm not sure if it's the same way over across the way where you are, but you kind of have the like August to December is like a semester, and so this team, the Green Wall team, has been playing since about the beginning of August together.
Okay.
In Leviathans, maybe about a month, maybe just under that. But I know Italian, at least, he's got a few friends that he's played with for a long time, so there's definitely synergy through both rosters. Flores will be the first operator off the board, as well, no more Rotero RCXD drones will be able to be brought into the building to clear out all of the shields that will be set up here in Piano.
Yeah, Nook getting rid of as well. I mean, look, Nook's one of these operators where, especially in more chaotic games, you don't really want to have to deal with, right? Slipping past the cameras, you have access to those frag grenades, so banning that also takes away that aspect of the attack. That Thatcher ban, not really important anymore because they impact EMPs, so why waste the ban? Wamai falls as well, and Wamai followed shortly by Mira. I mean, these are two pretty standard bans. The Wamai's a little bit quirky, because I mean, sometimes you want to play them, especially on a map like Cafe, where you already talked about there's so much space for you to play upstairs. There's so many ways in which you can bunker up with your utility and just try and waste out that clock from the attackers. The interesting one for me, though, Glimpse, is that Azami is available if these teams choose to play it, and being able to chuck those keybers, especially looking at Piano with so many tables and chairs and weird little nooks and crannies which you can chuck those onto just to create yourself a nice little pocket to play in. Be interesting to see if that comes up later in the game.
Most definitely. Valkyrie also available on the board. Leviathan is not electing to run her on the bakery bomb site. And kind of a curious decision because Valkyrie is so unbelievably strong on a map like Cafe. You can get so much information. No matter where those black eye cameras are placed, you can throw them anywhere across the map. You can hide them in some of the banners and anything around. There's tons of nooks and crannies on Cafe, lots of furniture and furnishings all around the map to be able to tuck those cameras and feed your team some of that extra information. That, however, will not be brought out here by Leviathans. They're sticking to their guns and sticking to their roots. You have a very heavy roam upstairs, I would say. You've got Technith on the Alibi up top, and well, the homie Junior also running around upstairs with the Jaeger, just trying to shoot some drones and potentially fall on back to Bakery, the bomb site.
Yeah, and just having this presence upstairs forces the attack to spend this time to clear it out, because especially with, you're looking at this soft floor illustrated perfectly here, right? Once that starts to open up, it becomes a lot more difficult to play inside of sight, just because the floors open around. A lot of the common spots can be accessed, and the ones that can't be seen, you can bounce in those grenades. But Zhao taking the first aggressive motion as they are focusing their attack pretty heavily into Bakery. All 5 members located in this area. The big thing here is that Nomad, right? You cut off this ability for the defense to rotate to try and stab you in the sides. Vertical holes will be something for them to worry about, though. That will be the contending point, as seeing Finn taking a little bit of damage, but so far staying up in the fight.
I'm concerned that Greenwall has not elected to go upstairs and clear out some of the vertical holes and pressure that has been made by the Leviathan's defenders. Sherm will throw a nade deep into prep, but the ADS will end up zapping it and catching it. So not great coordination here from Greenwall. The Thatcher EMP not able to bring down the ADS, but in the bomb site goes Greenwall. Zhao will kick it off, taken down. Nope, their Rooney falls, but I win these, or Italian will end up getting the response here on to J-Ram. So an even trade so far, but the diffuser's going down rapidly, and with ease it will go down. Sherm will get one onto Italian, so the refrag in the bomb site has taken place. Vertical holes still not being utilized the way they need to, as Zhao will find their second of the round onto the homie Junior. Sherm will bring down Panic, and it's all left down to Technith, who's been sitting on the vertical pressure for the whole round. Will bring down 2 attackers, but not enough, and not enough time, as they end up to get failed up by the thermal.
Yeah, and I mean, we talked about it, right? They are focusing completely on Bakery. That pinch, the vulnerability is above. If the defense can just make the most use of it, they didn't. We saw that little hole being watched, but the attack just flooded through and no shots came down. It was almost like they weren't quite aware that maybe they'd push in quite so boldly, and they had nothing in sight to contend it. Instantly, the round is flipped on its head. You now have to play that retake, and the Nomad just being able to isolate the most common pathways back, dropping these air jabs on doorways, holding these sight lines, and then again the openings. The whole point of these openings is to make that site a kill box. But if all your accesses back are watched by them as well, kind of works against you.
I feel like Greenwall played exactly into how the Leviathan's defense was set up. They were ready for Greenwall to just walk on into the bomb site, but the walls weren't utilized properly, and players weren't holding the right positions. Technith, I want to highlight direction there on the vertical hole, and they allowed the attackers to sneak on by into the bomb site, went with the Greenwall attack, and not enough vertical holes and pressure made by the Leviathan's defenders allowed for Greenwall to simply roam throughout the bomb site as they want to make it their own. They essentially became the defenders once the diffuser went down, and Leviathans ended up finding no success there on their defense. Now they want to try again their hand back at Kitchen, but this time a complete different attacking strategy from Greenwall as they're all rappelling up to the roof.
And you notice as well the lineup changes to accommodate for this difference in attack. They're now bringing J-Ram on that buck rather than the Thatcher. They're not going for the direct approach. Something such as a mute jammer or an electro claw isn't the thing that will hold you up. It's not having enough destruction to open up the floor to expose these common sites or positions inside of the site. And so now just slowly looking to push back these lines of defense, just peel away at Leviathan's hold, but it's going to start on the back foot for them. Zhao, just a little bit overconfident, looking over the new balcony, will lose his head early on. This ultimately might cause some slight hindrances, but they're doing a good work at taking the rest of this space. Nope, though, looking to try and get aggressive up the red stairs. Spotted out by the drone, though. That should temper their aggression for the time being. They still have players on this middle floor who haven't yet been caught out. The drone's caught on the jammer.
The defensive utility doing a great job of shutting down those drones. Italian here on the mute will shut down more of that information being fed through by the attackers. Zhao has fallen, so the primary entry going down for Greenwall. And well, now it comes down to the vertical and soft destructors to try to clear out the rest of the Leviathan's roam and eventually as much vertical presence onto the bomb site. Jagged will continue to drone for their team and find more information about where the Leviathan's defense has roamed off to, as well, Green Wall seem to be stuck in between a rock and a hard place as their attack has slowed down significantly. They finally gathered control of train and engine room, but it's at a very long cost of time as well as one of their own teammates. The homie Junior now looking to get aggressive here and may have a flank opportunity up the red stairs as the E1D scan will go on through more vertical pressure being made here by the green wall attack, but again, they still got to crack on into the bomb site. Sonofin nearly able to level Homie Jr., but they will just continue to hold on to this closet position as, well, the Lion's been stuck outside for effectively the whole round as Greenwall will begin to collapse here onto the VIP extension. There's a smoke still playing in this position, and gas grenades will go on through. Sherm will attempt to sledgehammer a nade through the floor. Technic will find one on a Son of Finn. I win these will also find one on a Jagged. J-Ram able to get a response for their team and bring down the second. The smoke in VIP falls, but the Freezer's been dropped and left by the attack in Freezer. All Leviathans need to do is hold out and wait for time to expire, and that's exactly what will happen as the sledge falls and the Buck not able to get that diffuser down in time.
And that's what happens, right? When you take too long to clear upstairs, yes, they get that control inside of train, inside of mining, and they take control of the fireplace as well. And they can start to work away at the hatch. They can start to give themselves a little bit more access into Freezer, but they haven't got enough time to capitalize on that control afforded to it. And we saw what happened, right? Lion playing on that window, playing by reception. The whole point of this is to try and cut off any rotations that the defense might try to make to deal with this aggression through garage. Problem is, if the rest of your team aren't making those forward steps, they aren't taking that control away from the defense in the first place, you're effectively just stood there watching for someone to overpeak, and while he nearly collected himself a kill, in the grand scheme of things, outside of pressing his gadget every now and again, he's not really impacting the attacking lineup, and so you're left in more or less a 5 versus 3 to try and clear up the rest of the map. And the control, you said it, it's just the way it goes. You need to get there a little bit earlier to actually be able to make your move downstairs. It was a good adjustment by Leviathans, though, when they recognized what was going on, and so you have to give them some credit for that.
That was a great defense. They had roamed for plenty of time, wasted all of the time of the attack, and eventually, well, the round fell to time, and the Leviathans did a beautiful job executing on their second attempt of a bakery defense. Now, it was a different attack strategy by Green Wall, but it played better into the hands of Leviathans, so I think that Green Wall will rethink their strategy of defending or attacking Baker when it comes back around, because it's Cafe. It's going to come back around. However, we're up to Piano now. Bar Cocktail will be the main bomb site, but a lot of the emphasis comes through in Piano, unless a cocktail take is the intention. Italian will be playing within the Cigar Cubby as trying to stop any of these green wall attackers from dropping down that red hatch. They will be met with the M590, but it's the homie Junior that started off with the pick on a J-Ram.
Yeah, and that's not the ideal first pick, especially when you're looking at the utility you bring in. Nasty set of flashes no longer available. You lose out 3 of those. You want to be really careful with these ADSs that Nope has available, right? Because you now, with the way they recharge, have a very small window of opportunity to get rid of the utility, and with Kibas and such on the table, well, you just lost your sledge. You lost a set of frag grenades. That job becomes even harder to do, and recognizing that, Green Wolves seeing that this utility setup is going to just be near impossible to deal with at this point in the round with the losses they've suffered so far, going for this rotation and still trying to work an angle through the cocktail window, through the top. And, I mean, it's very unlikely anyone peeks into you, but if you can claim a freebie, that's an excellent way to find yourself back in this round. White Stairs trying to push up, trying to take this control, enters the first gunfight, can't quite land the shot required on the mute, and he's going to swing back around with the shotgun. He takes the kill and just continues to accelerate the lead that the Leviathans have found themselves this round, as the Nitro Cell as well doesn't quite connect. Caught on the Kiba! Oh, no, that's horrific. You hate to see it. His teammate's utility, which is set in a way to prevent this push from Piano, ultimately hurts on the flip side.
Well, the homie Junior was trying to run away, but the flashbang ended up being the biggest
Yeah.
killer in that in that round, and especially his own teammates Gadget. The Kiva also brought them down. Son of Finn will be lowered to 1 HP, but it's at the cost of Nope's life, as well they have fallen now, and Greenwall has kind of brought this round back into a winnable situation. Jagged has dropped the red hatch, but the shotgun from the cigar shop will do the damage and bring down Jagged. So it's all left down to Son of Finn, the most experienced player for the Greenwall team. Son of Finn forced now to drop the hatch, but cannot recover that diffuser without inhaling some of those toxic babes. More will be thrown out now by Italian as it continued to expel the rest of the time, and more than likely one more gas grenade will be enough to shut down this round for Son of Finn. It's going to force them to simply play for KD, play for the life, as there's no chance of them winning this round unless the Leviathans were to silly run through and maybe even cause a team kill. But it's Italian with a huge swing on a Son of Finn and able to finish off the last attack.
Yeah, I mean, when you're stuck at 1 HP, just looking into the smoke, you're rethinking many decisions in that round. But they came off of that aggression downstairs, right? Hunting down these players, and you lose the gunfight. But in the end, just getting him down on HP is job done enough. And, well, Greenwall, first attacking round, they've won. Leviathans have looked a lot better in these last 2 rounds, and I think they're doing a good job of just kind of finding these opening picks. And a big part of that is this, right? Zhao going down early in 2 of these rounds now, looking for these early aggression, this early entry. The problem is they're not playing enough around it, right? You want to have a drone driving him forwards. You want to have the drone interact with that mute, especially if you hot drone correctly. And if you hot drone really well, and that Zofia is playing tight on your gadget, you drive the drone around the corner, the mute goes to shoot it, and you just collect a freebie because he's looking the wrong way. That's an ideal world, right? Oftentimes the players will be expecting a push behind, but the point is you need to be setting up for these entries to be more successful, because at the moment, they're just sending it and praying they win the 1v1, which look, it can work a couple times, but you can never turn that into a reliable strategy. And you're looking at the setup, once again, this Azami is just throwing all the utility towards Piano, expecting this is how you take onto a reading hold. They have to be able to use this utility more effectively without losing members to dislodge these comfort positions for the defense.
Greenwall will begin their attack as they all find their way back to the roof. Pretty much the same standard take for Cafe. You go to the roof, you open the hatches, you drop them, and then you find your way into the building. You take the top floor, take the second floor, maybe even the first floor if they're defending Bakery. But here we are on that middle floor, so there's not as much ground to take, and Greenwall looking to have the same success as they did on their first round here. This round, Technith will bring down some of the information already for Greenwall as more drones continue to fall on down. The homie Junior in a very aggressive position here, right under the skylight near that first bar in the bar bomb site, and trying to hold on to this ground for as long as possible will be the alibi. A lot of damage being done so far, but well, there's still not much action. A nade will come on through, and it will land a spot in Pixel, but not to find any player. Still very aggressive inside of Piano is Technic, as they're trying to deter Greenwall attackers finding their way on into the building.
Well, goes down to the flashbangs. The trade quickly coming out, though. Homie able to find a nice little spot to draw the line of sight onto the window. 3 Kibas out of play, though. Technith not able to drop them before falling, and that does make the job a little bit easier from this point onwards for Greenwall, despite having that man disadvantage, being down in the 3 versus 4 situation. The drone's coming through, spotting out the Aruni at the end of the white corridor, and this is ideally the position that they're looking to dislodge. 1 ADS trying to support it. They have the repel on the cocktail window, which cuts off some of these rotations, cuts off some of the fallback as Son of Finn, looking to try and win the gunfight, is able to do it. Flipping around on the repel makes it so difficult to catch him out. And now, well, that's the signal for Iwin needs to drop back down. Doesn't want to have to deal with any more of this pressure upstairs.
Eyewitness will fall on back down the white stairs at just the right moment, escaping with their life just barely, but Greenwall attackers now have established vertical control. They also have that sledgehammer on Sherm to be able to break away at the floor, but Sherm also has the only drone left for the remaining attackers that are alive. Eyewitness will respond on the Son of Finn as they walk up the ground stairs, and it will knock down the Ash trying to hold the long angle of the rotation. Sherm will continue to do soft destruction from above, but with only 15 seconds left, it's time to hit the bomb site. Jagged will just be trying to do so as they find their way through 90. Do end up finding a frag on the Nope, so all of a sudden, this is very possible for Jagged to get on in, but the gas grenades are going to be super impactful. Now, Panic reading into the rotation of both the attackers. Jagged will try to find the kill. Panic takes down Sherm. Able to get the down is the Hibana, but not able to get the diffuser down. Jagged, not enough time to be able to get inside the bomb site and start ticking away at that bomb defusal time. And well, the Leviathans will win their 3rd straight defensive round.
I'm still wondering about the Azami on the top floor, right? Because I get you being pressured out, but you're against the Bucks. And I feel like in this situation, you can just chuck those Keybers onto the sofa next to you, create that barrier for yourself. It doesn't matter if you get flashed out at that point because he can't draw the line of sight. That was ultimately the problem. He's still looking away from these flashbangs, but in the corner. I don't know. I think if you can stall out that time just a touch more, you'll win even more comfortably. But after that loss of the Azami, the rest of the team played so well around that, right? You recognize you no longer have this forward position. You got to be wary of this push starting to come in. And Greenwall had a good idea. They have the right plan in mind. The problem is their execution of it, because they are ultimately not using frag grenades, stun grenades, to clear out positions such as top white in a swift enough manner. Because what happens, right? Yuruni, able to play off the shield, falls back safely, no one pressuring, no one able to even get damage as they drop, and ultimately the round was won because Aruni was hiding safely, and Aruni couldn't be caught out.
The struggle continues for Greenwall as they've yet to find an attack since their 1st round, and I feel like that was more due to a Leviathan's misplay than a Greenwall win. Now, they did have a great strategy of hitting into the bomb site and finding their way on in. Bakery is the only bomb site they have successfully attacked, and well, they get a 3rd opportunity at it now. They won the 1st one, lost the 2nd one, and well, maybe they're looking for better results here on Bakery, but a different defensive strategy here from Leviathans. They've made a rotate into Bakery this time around. Smoke Grenade will go off to mask the Ace Charge, which will be opening that small Bakery wall, and as Nope tries to get out, Zhao will end up finding the head of the Azami, so no more Bakery presence here for the Leviathans defenses. Greenwall going back to their roots and directly into Bakery.
Well, you know what? They tried another take, and they figured out this one is the one that worked. I win these, able to take down Zhao. Again, there's Ophir getting caught out, and I mean, it's not quite as important, but that one hurts just as badly. The sledge, no more nades available now for the rest of this attack. It becomes a lot harder to root these players out as the homie just continuing to run rampant on this map. Takes out J-Ram as well. Son of Finn trying to rotate to get into a position to maybe cut off this road, off the top of the stairs, but able to get down the homie, takes down the player, and now they have kind of pushed into sight now. Still, Techno, waiting. Red is aware, but the swing from Panic is gorgeous. And now Jagged, a 1 versus 3, a very difficult situation for him to win out, but he finds the first, takes a lot of damage. Becomes a little bit dangerous when you consider Smoke still has 3 of those toxic babes if he wants to start utilizing them, but instead, staying gun ready, trying to play around the hard cover, trying to play around the reinforcement, turns away just the right time. The aggression from the Jaeger, well, or the Thermite, not too much, but the rotation is the one that will seal the nail in the coffin, and this defense holding on tight. I have to say, Clemps, 100% win rate on Azami.
Yeah. Well, Azami's pretty impactful, I would say. I'd say Azami is a pretty damn good operator, and especially on the likes of Cafe, it's so difficult to clear that out, especially for a team like Greenwall. They've really struggled on that utility clear, and they overpeak so much without the information they need. They need to be better about droning where those defenders are, and well, when you dry peek angles such as prep and Bakery and wherever you're trying to get that pick onto a defender, you need to have perfect information on where they are, and you need to be able to use your utility to help leverage those frags. Right now, that is not happening. Greenwall is trying to get kills with their guns, but it is just not showing on the scoreboard right now. Instead, it's showing for Leviathans, and it's the advantage for Leviathans as they are just running rampart around Greenwall after the one warm-up round that Leviathans let Greenwall ended up winning. Well, so far, it's been all Leviathans since.
5 seconds to go.
Some tomfoolery, perhaps some magic. from I win these this round. Just we'll have to see how that unfolds. But for the time being, setting themselves up pretty similarly to the way they did before. Noah's Army on the table to clog up Piano, which my instant thought is that Green Wool will be more willing to take the assault a little bit more traditional. But with this Aruni, the Amaru even, I hate all these operators having similar names, but with the Amaru on board, could this be a rush straight into Cocktail?
Well, it just might be. You have Jagged on the gridlock as well, a very staple operator for Cafe, but Mage is bringing those track stingers to make as much noise as possible and stop the defenders from running around the bomb site, especially if you throw them around in the right particular places. JRAM is looking to swing on into heaven here as they're going to try to find their way right on into the Cocktail bomb site. They have the diffuser in hand with the G8, and it's going to be a fast execute from Green Wall. They will continue to drone out and wait for the Leviathans defense to be, because you start to hear some of those track stingers go on through. Sherm has taken a lot of damage. Zhao as well. JRAM swinging on through will lose their life, so the diffuser has gone down. Sherm tries to drop the red hatch, but at what cost? They lose their life. Jagged has found their way into the bomb site, though, and will be able to begin planting the diffuser, but they'll wait for their teammate, Son of Finn, who's currently on the skylight, to find themselves in a position to support their own friend. Drone will go on through the skylight, so the smoke's position has been alerted to, and Son of Finn will continue to gain coverage from up top. Jagged still all alone in the bomb site, and Son of Finn, the Nomad, needs to find a way to help their teammate. The gas grenade will go on through, forcing Jagged out of position in the swing, and they'll end up losing their life to I win these. Son of Finn with the response on a note, but a 1v2. The diffuser is down in the bomb site. Plenty of time to work these picks, but they've got to find two more bodies of the Leviathans defense.
We'll just swinging on in, using the stun as cover, but I win these, rotating into Cocktail, just waiting to meet it. The deep flash not catching him out. He collects the kill on swing in, and, well, that was an interesting attempt, right? They're trying to go for a little bit more of a chaotic, like try and capitalize on some of the confusion that can be caused, and having the gridlock and the Nomad does restrict a lot of movement from the defense. The problem is they couldn't get those gadgets into positions to capitalize on it. And after a slow start from the Leviathans, they've clawed their way back through the first half, and now sitting in a pretty comfortable 5-1 advantage. 2 rounds off a win. Well, let's see if they can do it, because attacking on Cafe traditionally has always been a lot harder.
Well, attack is definitely a very difficult side on Cathay with how much utility is brought on and about by the defenders. Now, there isn't a Wamai on the board, so it makes it a little easier to clear some of the gadgets that can be placed out, but Flores has been banned out by Leviathans, who are now on attack, so they will be at the punishment of none of those Rotero RCXD drones to go on in and break apart any Kiva barriers, deployable shields, Maestro bubbles, anything placed around in Piano. The Nook also off the board, so that's a set of grenades gone. So it's going to be much more difficult to clear out a lot of the utility that's been brought through by Green Wall, but only one deployable shield. Now, plenty of bulletproof gadgets such as the Maestro bubbles, and as well a bulletproof camera placed by JRAM, a downstairs extension almost by Son of Finn here, as the Oryx has plenty of utility to open up some of these floors, as well as proxy alarms spread all across the map to try to find these Leviathans attackers, as they may attempt to roam clear here.
Well, blind pressure, dropping the Claymore, prevent yourself from the run out, and I think, no, it's definitely something I wouldn't take off the table. Right, especially on Cafe, looking at these repels and how important they can be. Just want to keep yourself a little bit more protected from it. Flying pressure, just trying to work their way into Piano at the moment. Still the shield up, and well, there's ADSs to catch whatever comes their way, but so far, not too much activity. As I say that, trying to get a little bit aggressive on the high wind. They both take a little bit of damage, but it's the Oryx who comes out that trade on the worst end.
A little bit of damage done to the Thatcher, but not enough to take them out. Son of Fan ends up being worse for wear in that engagement. Sherm now on this position here in Pixel, often called as it's a very frustrating position to play. Some players give it a different name, but we can't say that on broadcast. That's a little too mean and out of our grounds. The Mute will be playing that position, though, and it's a little curious to have someone with the SMG-11. You only get 17 bullets, and you gotta really make sure you can place those shots. Sure, definitely a solid player, but I don't know if that is the right option to have in such a important position like Pixel. They backed up now away as the ADSs have been disabled and the shield is now gone, but still able to hold on to this positioning is Green Wall. The Leviathans have 60 seconds left to clear out any of the last minute util and find their way on into the building, which you see they've all dropped down into the red hatch and will find their way most likely into this minibar. Sonafin still below and contesting the entries here for Leviathans as they feel uncomfortable when peeking. You see Technith having to slowly peek every angle. Not enough information here from the Leviathans attack.
I'm still waiting for this Oryx to pay off. In the meantime, still have control of White Corridor, still. Oh, Sherm able to find the first kill onto Nope as Habana goes down. Just again, they haven't been able to push these players out of these aggressive positions, and they fall back just to retake the mantle. A quick trade comes through as Sherm finds a second, but they do lose a teammate in the background as well. Now Panic able to drag down Jagged as well. This could be the opportunity they were looking for, but there's only 20 seconds left on the clock. And I've been using the jump to get back into Cocktail to shore up the back of sight, but Technith able to draw one as they're just plunging deeper into sight. The Oryx able to find one back, trying to battle it out very close to storage, pulls out the shotgun to try and find the gridlock, but no. Panic continues to win. The gunfight's out, and the swing with the pistol. Technith on very little time. Just missed seconds on the clock. Is able to find the last inside a Cocktail, hugging that bar. And Leviathans are on match point.
6-1 here is the score for Leviathans, and I just want to talk real quick about what Son of Fid did on that roam. Now, he jumped up the Cocktail hatch, as you saw. The Oryx was able to get back up the bomb set. That's one of the cool features that Oryx has, is they can, he's pretty strong. He can jump up. He's got, like, Superman hops. And he jumped up that hatch. I bet you the comms of the Leviathan's attack was something along the lines of, okay, there's one downstairs, just push sight, right? But then Oryx was in sight. And the only way to get back into sight for most defenders that play the game, normal and not as crazy and you're not able to run around the map like Oryx, is up the red stairs or up the white stairs. And Oryx went up neither of those. So I think that Son of Finn caught some of the Leviathan's attackers off guard. Unfortunately, it fell flat because the rest of his teammates had died already. And, well, the round ended up being a Leviathan's round, but nearly a super impressive, impactful play made by the Oryx.
5 seconds.
And now they'll have to see if they can hold on to, I was about to say the basement. It's always just get most games, most maps in Siege have a basement, and Cafe has always tripped me up, right? Because every time I'm like, oh, they're playing basement, but it's not a basement, it's a ground floor. And so instead they are playing the ground floor site, and it'll be interesting to see kind of what approach Leviathans have to attack this, right? We've seen both sides from Green Wall, one more successfully than the other, but Silhouette's coming out. Looks like they're going up to the top, trying to just clear this a little bit more traditionally. There's, no, never mind. I take that back. They're just outside Bakery.
Plenty of Leviathan's attackers here trying to work on this Bakery clear. The Yano Gemini clone will go on through, and it can run through that gas grenade without taking any damage. They'll gather some of that information on the Bakery player who has now fallen back into the bomb site. More burn coming on through. So the Bakery hold is doing its job and wasting plenty of attack utility, but now the attack has found their way on inside. Jagged may be caught out in a bad position and does get down. Now, they are potential. There is the potential to revive Jagged and keep the smoke up on the board, but they've taken a lot of damage already and are in a not great position here to be picked up. A nade will come through from Homie Jr. trying to finish off the smoke, but it will not do so. Jagged will get rezzed by their teammates, so the smoke will still be in play, but only one gas grenade remains in their pocket.
Well, the breach fully open on up now, just exposing as much of the site as possible. Son of Finn is available to create some plays from upstairs, though it looks like he wants to maybe move down the red stairs, try and catch him off on a side angle, and draw some pretty cheeky lines. Homie Jr. looking deep into sight, trying to find the players right at the back of the kitchen. There's no taking some damage back. Zai Windows able to take down the mute. That's the pesky little side problem gone. This makes the site just a little bit more appetizing to jump into. J-Ram still, though, unread corridor can cause problems for them, and that's why they're trying to force them out. Use the flashbangs, the pings coming through, giving away the position, but Jagged will eventually be finished off. No longer have to worry about the smoke as Technith finds a second 2 versus 4. Nope, hugging tight on the wall, getting this diffuser down. The defenders locked out of sight. Zhao walking down red. Has to be a little bit wary of the air jab as that will blow up. He's not the one that dies, though. It's Sherm pushing in through Freezer. Zhao 1 versus 4 to keep Greenwall's hopes of this game alive as the shots coming through. That's a wonderful shot onto the homie Junior, now playing behind the bakery counter. The shots peppering over the top of his head. He knows exactly where they are, but they're just not letting him move. Able to work his way into prep, finds a second Jow. Nope goes down, and now, again, just continuing to plunge deeper into sight. The red pings from his teammates giving him the assistance that he needs to try and win the third, but no. Teknith, he's not faltering. He will win these. And, well, Leviathans, a comfortable 7-1 victory in round number 2.